SpongeBob, making kids stupid, study finds. SpongeBob, making. So making, the synonyms I give you are causing and turning. But if you use causing, you have to change the sentence a little. You would have to say SpongeBob causing kids to become stupid, study finds. So if I underline it, I will reword it. I wanted you to know that causing is a synonym, but you have to use it a special way. Kids, you can say children. The antonyms are adults or grown-ups. And then we go to stupid here. Stupid, we can say dumb, foolish, idiotic, moronic, silly, dense, illogical. The antonyms are intelligent, smart, brilliant, sharp, bright, clever, logical. Study or research finds. Now, this word research also has an asterisk here, just like the word causing did, because you can't count research. So if you come down here, it says a new study, you would just say new research, but new research. That's how you would read it, okay? So let's come back here to finds. Discovers, reveals, shows, indicates, concludes, reports, or determines. So they watched kids that watched SpongeBob, and they found that these kids were dumber. Let's see their study. SpongeBob SquarePants might be a hit with kids, but a new study suggests it could harm their thinking skills. Research published in Pediatrics found that fast-paced shows, like SpongeBob, negatively affect children's ability to focus, solve problems, and manage behavior. This news has some parents rethinking their children's TV habits. So, SpongeBob SquarePants might be a hit with. So let's just look at a hit with first, okay? I gave you a success with, successful with, successful is the adjective, popular with, well received by kids. If I use well received, I need to use the preposition by. Well liked by, or we can say a fan favorite of kids. Now, kids is in green because up here we already had it. The synonyms were children, the antonyms were adults and grown-ups, okay? But you can see I have also underlined this in red because I reworded it. Kids might really like SpongeBob SquarePants, but or however. So that's what you do when I underline it. Just read it through. But or however, a new study, or I would say but new research, right? Because you can't count research, suggests, implies, indicates, points out, or proposes it could harm. So harm, damage, hinder, negatively affect, negatively influence, or negatively impact. Now this is good because down here it already says negatively affect. So I'm using this adverb negatively with any three of these verbs, and it would all work in the sentence, okay? The antonyms are benefit, be good for, or be beneficial for, their thinking or cognitive skills. So thinking, when they say thinking and cognitive here, they mean like you can do math, you can count, you can solve problems with your brain, because you will see this word cognitive later in the story. So skills, you can say abilities or capabilities. Research, or a study, published in. So published in, printed in, released by, put out by. Pediatrics, found. You would use any of these words, but with ed. Discovered, revealed, showed, indicated, concluded, reported, determined. Any of them can work here. Just remember, you have to put them in the past now. That fast, quick, or rapid, the antonym is slow, paced. So if a show is fast-paced, that means it moves quickly. There's lots of things happening in a short time. So paced, we can say tempoed or moving. Shows, programs, content, or media, like or such as SpongeBob, negatively affect. And remember, negatively affect, you can just say harm. Children's or kids' ability, see, ability, you already had it with skills. But now you would just take the S off. You could say skill or capability. To focus. So focus, let's say pay attention and concentrate. Solve problems. Solve, you can say figure out or answer, and problems, you can say challenges. Maybe even questions could work here. And manage, control, handle, or regulate behavior. So behavior, there. I say there because we are talking about children's behavior, okay? So their actions, their way of acting, or their way of behaving. I could just write children's actions, children's way of acting, children's way of behaving. But I have underlined this because I reworded it. So if you read from here, SpongeBob negatively affect children's ability to focus, solve problems, and control themselves. It's hard for kids to control themselves after they watch SpongeBob because it kind of makes them a little crazy. This news, article, research, or study has some parents, some folks, or moms and dads rethinking or reconsidering their children's TV habits. So habits, let's look at that first. You can say routines, tendencies, or regimens. A regimen is like you always do things the same way. You wake up, brush your teeth, take a shower. That's part of your regimen, your habit. This I reworded too. This news has some parents rethinking what their children should be watching. Or we can read, this news has some parents rethinking how their children should watch TV. Because if SpongeBob is bad for your kids and it makes them stupid, you probably don't want your kids to watch it, right? This study, led by University of Virginia psychologist Angeline Lillard, observed 64-year-olds. They were divided into 3 groups. One group watched 9 minutes of SpongeBob. Another watched a slower PBS cartoon. And the third spent time drawing. Afterward, the kids completed tasks like solving puzzles and counting backward. Children who watched SpongeBob performed the worst in these cognitive tests, struggling more than the other groups. Let's come back. The study or research led or directed by University, you can say college, of Virginia psychologist. So psychologist, I just want you to remember mind doctor or brain doctor. Like if you have depression and you feel sad all the time, a psychologist can help you. Angeline Lillard observed, watched, monitored, or tracked 64-year-olds, so 64-year-old kids or children. They were divided, separated, split, or put. The antonyms are integrated, combined, joined, or united, like the United States, into 3 groups. So groups, you can say teams, categories, divisions, sets, or units. So that means there's 20 kids in each group. For you math masters here. One group watched 9 minutes of SpongeBob. Another, so this is a noun here, another group, or one more group, watched a slower or slower-paced PBS cartoon. And the third group, spent time drawing. So spent time drawing, if you look up here, I reworded it. The third spent their time drawing pictures. The third drew pictures with their time. Or we can say the third made use of their time by drawing pictures. So these are all ways I can reword the same sentence. And you can look at one sentence now 4 ways. So this is good for your grammar. Afterward or after, the kids or children completed, did, or finished tasks, activities, like or such as. So sometimes this will have a different meaning, but the last time we saw the word like, it meant such as, right? Like, such as. So that's why I just left it the way it was, okay? If it's being used a different way, I would change it. If I say I have blue eyes like my mom and dad, that would mean similar to. But here they're giving examples, such as solving puzzles. Now, above puzzles, I wrote riddles and mysteries because these are examples of puzzles. And counting backward. Backward, the antonym is forward. So after the kids watched SpongeBob, they would have them count backward, like 10, 9, 8, 7. And they found that the kids who watched SpongeBob did worse. It says that here. Children who watched SpongeBob performed, did, or were the worst. So worst, you can say least successfully, they perform the least successfully, or they perform the least effectively. The antonyms would be best or greatest. In these cognitive or thinking tests, so test, you can say exams or examinations. Struggling more, so struggling more, having more trouble, having more difficulty, having more issues than the other groups. So the kids who watched SpongeBob had more trouble doing thinking tasks after they watched SpongeBob. It's not a good sign. Dr. Lillard suggested that kids mimic the chaotic behavior of fast-moving characters, which might hinder focus and attention. However, not everyone agrees with the findings. Nickelodeon representative David Bitler criticized the study, arguing it lacked diversity and used kids younger than SpongeBob's target audience of 6-year-olds. Dr. Lillard suggested, or implied, that kids mimic. Okay, if you mimic something, you copy, imitate, or mirror it. You do the same thing that somebody else is doing. So if they see SpongeBob and his friend Patrick, they want to copy what they do and maybe run around with their arms up and scream like they do on the show. They mimic the chaotic. So chaotic, I got lots of good words for this one. Frantic, hectic, wild, crazy, erratic, frenzied, and uncontrolled. The antonyms are calm, orderly, organized, and of course the opposite of uncontrolled is just controlled. Behavior or actions of fast-moving characters. Remember, characters are like SpongeBob and Patrick. Harry Potter, that's a character. Mario. So fake people in media, maybe movies, okay? That's characters. Which might hinder or slow down or hurt focus and attention. So focus and attention, they both share the word concentration. Let's look at focus first. You can say concentration, engagement, or absorption. So if you're a teacher and you have a classroom of 30 students, maybe some kids will absorb the information more. They will remember 95% of what you say. But some kids only remember like 30% of what you say. Their focus, their absorption is not as good. Maybe their engagement is not as good either. Some kids raise their hands more and have more answers than other kids. They have higher engagement, okay? And attention. So this attention also means concentration, but it means mindfulness and awareness. Like, you know where you are. You don't forget things so easily if you have good awareness, okay? Some students can answer questions so quickly. You can ask them, okay, look at paragraph 3, line 2, what does hinder mean? And they can say, oh, it means slow down, right? They have better mindfulness, okay? However, but, not everyone or everybody agrees with the findings. Let's reword this. However, not everyone thinks the findings are accurate, thinks the findings are correct, or thinks the findings are right. Some people think these findings are wrong, okay? Nickelodeon representative. So representative, you can say spokesperson, employee, or worker. This guy works for Nickelodeon, and this is the company that makes SpongeBob. So of course he's not going to agree with the study. He's going to say, hey, there are problems. David Bitler criticized the study. So criticized, complained about, pointed out flaws in, or pointed out potential problems in the study. He thinks there are problems. Let's see what he thinks. Arguing, contesting, contending, claiming, asserting, reasoning, or you can just say saying. It lacked diversity, or it didn't have enough diversity. So diversity means you have kids of different color, like black, white, Asian, just different kids of different colors, okay? And used, utilized, or employed kids younger, the antonym is older, than SpongeBob's target audience of 6-year-olds. So he is arguing the show is made for 6-year-olds and older, but this study used 4-year-olds, okay? So let's see how I reworded it. Used kids who weren't the correct SpongeBob demographic. Those are the kids you want to watch the show, 6 years old and older. Or we can say used kids who didn't meet the prerequisites of SpongeBob's target audience. I think that is spaced too far. Yeah, SpongeBob's target audience. So he said, hey, it's made for 6-year-olds, not 4-year-olds. I can kind of agree with what he's saying. In America, though, you have to be 21 to drink beer. I think a lot of people don't wait until they're 21. If you are a 4-year-old kid and you see SpongeBob on the TV, you will probably want to watch it because it looks like fun and it's chaotic, right? Chaotic. Last paragraph. SpongeBob SquarePants, first aired in 1999, is the only 1990s Nicktoon still running. While its humor and quirky charm keep fans entertained, this study raises important questions about whether fast-paced TV can impact how kids learn and grow. The debate continues. Is SpongeBob a harmless sea sponge or a real brain buster for young viewers? SpongeBob SquarePants first or originally aired. So aired, you can say televised, put on the air, or released in 1999. Is the only 1990s Nicktoon still running. So running, you can say on TV, on the air, or we can say being aired or being televised. While or though it's humor, so the humor of the show are the funny or comedic parts, the parts that make you laugh. And quirky, eccentric, zany, kooky, fun, wacky, or off the wall, because they do crazy things on the show. The antonyms of quirky are conventional, traditional, predictable, boring. And charm, you can say allure or appeal. The charm is what pulls the kids into watching the show, pulls or draws them, okay? It captivates them, okay? Keep fans entertained. So fans, let's look at fans first. You can say viewers, watchers, audiences, audience members, spectators, or just people, because fans are people. Entertained, you can say amused. The antonym is bored. But keep fans amused, I reworded. While its humor and quirky charm captivate fans, or we can say hold fans' attention. Now fans is an adjective here. Hold their attention. This study raises, brings up, evokes, or asks. Important. So if something is important, it's significant, vital, essential, crucial, meaningful, major, or relevant. All good words for important. The antonyms are trivial, insignificant, irrelevant, inconsequential, unimportant. Questions about whether fast-paced TV can impact how we can say the way in which kids learn. Now, kids is a noun with S, so if I want to use the word educated, I have to say kids are educated. Because when you're educated, you learn things, like you're learning right now on this channel. And grow or develop. This debate, so debate, I wrote the synonyms under the word, discussion, dialogue, controversy, deliberation, argument, or conflict, continues, persists, goes on, doesn't end, keeps going, presses on, because people are not sure, is this good or bad for us? The antonyms are ends, concludes, comes to an end, is over, stops, wraps up, or dies down. You can see my synonyms and antonyms all have S, because continues has S. Watch that with your verbs. Is SpongeBob a harmless? Harmless, you can say safe, beneficial, helpful, useful. The antonyms are harmful, dangerous, hazardous, unsafe. Sea, you can say ocean or water, sponge, or areal. Now, areal, you can say an actual, brain or mind buster. Like, is this something bad for your brain? A buster. It busts your brain. So buster, you can say killer, destroyer, or devastator for young viewers. I'm sure the people who make money from making this show hope that it is not a brain buster for the young viewers. Thank you for watching with me.